guy that may understand this whole Clemson thing better than a lot of guys who come in here on scholarship and play right away.
Absolutely.
How emotional will Saturday be?
Very emotional. Very emotional for me. Very emotional for my parents. They both went here, so it's going to be a whirlwind of emotions, like I was just saying before. I'm just so blessed to be here, and it's just an incredible opportunity. So,
Your goal for win number 43 is a senior class. What would that mean? Is that like a badge you can always carry?
Yeah, it means a lot to me, and I hope that it means a lot to Michael Sobeski, Philip Fagenbaum, the guys that were before me that I hope maybe y'all remember. I don't know if you do or not. But they paved the way for me to get here. And, the 10 wins that I've been a part of as a starter, I mean, that's small compared to what those guys have done and what the teams before us have done. So the guys like Chandler Catanzaro and Bradley Penn and Phil Fagenbaum and Michael Sobeski, Dawson Zimmerman, got to look out for the specialist guys, and they paved the way for our group of specialists right now. So.
National TV really loves the Hill entrance. Of course, the fans embrace it. Can you just kind of maybe give us a little bit of insight into the emotion of a player and really what it means to be at the top of that thing and enter that 85,000?
It is, yeah. It's awesome. It's unbelievable. And the first few years I was here, I wasn't a starter, and I could run down the hill and be as happy as I wanted to, and be jumping everywhere. But this year, as I come down, I kind of have to take a deep breath and not let my emotions get too high, because my job is not one that I need to have a crazy head or be way too low. I got to stay level-headed because heck, Boston College, we ran down the hill, offense got on the field, we went 3 and out, and I got to go snap. So just kind of got to keep a level head throughout it, but enjoy it while I'm doing it too. So.
You joked about the snap at Georgia Tech, but how do people underestimate how difficult it is to snap the ball and what conditions that you had to deal with this season?
Absolutely, yeah. Notre Dame was interesting. That was the beginning of the season. I was praying that we weren't going to get any rain, and then the biggest game of the year, we get a hurricane. The refs did a wonderful job keeping the balls dry for me. I mean, it makes it tough. It definitely adds to the process, but you just got to stay focused on what you do and not let it get in your head. So,
is there any advice you can give? I don't know who the snapper will be next year. Maybe it's Estes or whoever that you've been trying to pass along to him. And
oh man, that's a good question. Stay level-headed. Don't let this be too big of a deal. Let it perfect your craft, and take it day by day. Every day is a season of its own. So that's a good question. I'll have to think about that one. I'll think about that one. Maybe write an essay about it. I could probably come up with some good stuff.
I know you guys are top-notch athletes, but does it take you a few times coming down there? Look, it's pretty steep. I mean, do you worry about the first couple times down, especially with all the noise going on around you, falling? And do certain guys, have you been around guys for maybe 4 years, and there's guys that almost barely go over a slow walk because they just don't want to take a fall?
Well, my freshman year, my spring game, I had broken my foot and stress fractured my foot, and I was coming down during the spring game, hit the turf right at the bottom, and snapped the 5th metatarsal on my foot. So I'm the guy that did that. As it broke, the only thing I could think of was like, don't fall down, you idiot. That's only, I do not fall down. Nobody's gonna know. I went to the trainer, and luckily it's been okay. But yeah, you definitely have to watch yourself. I'm not one of the guys that jumps up in the air and does like that or throws his hands up in the air. I've torn both my ACLs, and I know that I could have some serious injury coming down. So.
Do you see other guys practicing, like when especially the guys who do those leaps midway?
Well, those guys are so athletic. I mean, I wasn't blessed with the athletic ability that some of the guys have, but yeah, I just don't take that risk. Don't take the risk.
Yeah, there are some guys, other teammates here, like you just mentioned, there are other guys that really are just almost laughably, if you see it on the game on TV later, a tape, that are laughably slow, kind of noticeable.
Down the hill?
Coming down the hill.
I'm one of the guys. I tiptoe, like I'm kind of walking on ice. It's interesting. Definitely look for me. I guess it's the last time, but I'm an interesting one to watch.
everybody talks about running down the hill, but does the emotion start when you get on the bus? I mean, or does it start? When does it start?
It starts for me when I walk out on the field to warm up, and that's kind of when it all starts going down. But after Sweeney talks to us and Coach Batson gives us some words of encouragement, it starts then. It begins the process there. And it's a heavy load of emotion.
Are you going to take a moment Saturday when you go out for warm-ups and just take it all in?
Absolutely. We walk out every game and say a prayer with the guys, our group of specialists. Going to take a moment for sure to thank God for getting me here and just smell the roses, man, because it's bittersweet.
One thing I've always noticed is like at Syracuse Saturday, you guys are the first ones out on the field in full uniform, so you always get the biggest cheer.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Well, that's cool. That's cool. It kind of, I guess, it gets the fans going too. 'Cause, you know, we're an interesting group to watch. I think we're probably the most fun guys to watch when we're warming up because we're booming kicks and hitting kicks in the stands and snapping. And so we're definitely an interesting group. I would definitely challenge y'all to watch us next time this week when we're warming up. So.
Do you have any Syracuse fans asking you for an autograph?
No, I had some guys yelling at me on the sidelines. Most of the time they say some pretty messed up stuff. I've had some games where fans don't yell the nicest things, but no, they were saying good stuff. I guess my name. They were talking pretty good about me, so that was definitely a confidence booster.
How fun was that to have Dabo name you a captain last
That was cool. That was something I'm never gonna forget. I was captain for the Wofford game, and that was amazing. The first game of the season, and I couldn't believe it. Well, I couldn't believe it, but couldn't believe it. It's big. And then I got it again at Syracuse. Just a blessing. Unbelievable. So.
I take it you, given your name, were well aware of what he meant by Jim Brown in Syracuse.
Yeah. Somebody asked me, they were like, "Were you always the first one picked in backyard football games because of your name?" I was like, "No, absolutely not. I'm the last one picked. I still am the last one picked."
Did you get to meet your namesake, or?
I did. I didn't get to meet him. Did you see him? No. Coach Pearman said he saw him in there, but I didn't get to see him, man. I was a little disappointed, but I'm sure he's a busy dude.
You mentioned a challenge with snapping a wet ball. What was so tough about that?
Kind of start to overthink your process and question what you're doing and if it's right. It's just slick, man. It can slip off and go right, left, up, down. So luckily the week before we worked a lot of wet ball stuff, Seth, Ryan, and I, and Andy. And usually if we get a forecast in the middle of the week, we'll work some stuff like that during the week to make sure we're all on point. So.
You mentioned Seth. How good is he at being a holder?
He's good. The receiver in him is a natural holder. He had to take over for Corbin Jenkins, and Corbin Jenkins was a great holder too, but Seth is a natural receiver, and it fits him pretty well. Coach Scott was too. I guess maybe Coach Scott taught him a little something.
You think that helps him just being a receiver having those hands?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially taking catches from Deshaun. I mean, he's throwing bullets, so I can snap it as fast as I want. He's pretty sure-handed, so.